can't imagine like a fandom like this is very creative. Like, is there fan art out there, fan edits? Do you see all that stuff?
Is there fan art? Is there fan art?
Like,
Is there fan art? You know, well, there's fan art. Hi, friend. Are you feeling really good? Maybe you're not, but we're about to improve your day exponentially. Joel Sharpton from the Articulate Coven Podcast, and we are reacting to yet another interview from San Diego Comic-Con 2024 with the interview with the Vampire Cast, this one from MTV.
this girl came up to us and she said, "I love your show. It's my entire personality." And I thought, wow, I'm so sorry. It's a really
it's a lot to put on me.
Intense personality to have. But
It is an intense personality to have, Sam. Just in case you're wondering, I've had it for 30 years this summer. Samuel.
we get it because it's kind of becoming all of our personalities as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, you're talking about yourself too.
Comic-Con, we have to have some vampires in the house. Welcome, guys. The interview with the vampires.
Do you guys remember? Maybe you're not old enough. Do you remember when MTV did news? I do. Pepperidge Farms remembers.
Here.
Thank you
very
for
much.
having
Thanks for having us.
Congratulations on the second season. This show is fantastic. I was just telling Sam, recently watched all 2 seasons, and you're making some great
All 2 seasons sounds awkward in the English language, but it is a lot. It's not perfect.
art here, guys. Congrats. You feeling the love in Comic-Con? What's it been like so far?
Yeah, I am. I'm loving it here. I'm taking everything in. It's very busy.
Is this your first Comic-Con?
It's my first ever Comic-Con, yeah.
Any friends warn you? Did Sam warn you what you were in for?
I got a couple of warnings, yeah. But it's been really good so far.
Okay, let's see if this journalist from MTV does what so many others have not yet and talk to Delainey about her second season performance here. You know, Delainey obviously replaced Bailey Bass from season 1 of Interview with the Vampire in season 2, and she's got a great arc in season 2. Delainey kills it, and yet so often in these interviews, they just talk to her about whether or not she's coming back for season 3 and what's the future, and then they ask her some off-screen questions like that, like, are you having a good con? Talk to me about the show.
We went on an undercover expedition on the first day we got here.
Oh, did you go on the floor?
Yeah, with clown masks and terrified a few people, but
Yeah, we went out as scary clowns onto the floor.
Amazing.
And people were quite terrified of us. Yeah.
also this is my first Comic-Con. There's such a like
2 things. First of all, like the Godfather poster in the background there. Kudos. Good set design here. Not quite as good, I think, as the Den of Geek, just because it was very themed, but this is also quite nice. And 2, I am very afraid of scary clowns. I watched it when I was a child.
warm vibe. Everyone there's like
Safe
everyone is-
environment.
Yeah, you can tell everyone is just sort of so pleased to be there and share the things that they love together.
Okay, that might as well have been the pitch for our Facebook group. In the comments, our Facebook group on Facebook, obviously. We've got a Discord group too. I'm just not very active on Discord. We made that for people who are like opposed to meta of it all. I understand. But I've carved out a space. Ashley and I have carved out a space for people who just want to enjoy the thing that they like. And the thing that we like in this case is Anne Rice and the Vampire Chronicles.
Yeah.
Would this be, if you weren't in this show, would this feel alien to you to be here? Like, is this at all your vibe? And it's okay if it's not. It's not for everybody. But like, I guess what you discover, right, is it's all about passion and love. It's just about a certain kind of obsession, right?
I'm a little bit of a nerd.
Are
I'm
you?
not like, I'm not sort of.
Assad, you're a liar. You're a lot of a nerd. It's obvious. It comes off in your whole thing, man.
Super, but I do like a lot of nerdy things, and this would be my vibe if it was at home. I'd be here straight away.
So a couple seasons in, I mean, is this something like, you know, you make the show and relative isolation, you're in a bubble with your cast and crew. Is this something that kind of like reminds you, oh yeah, we're making this for a lot of very passionate people. It's got to be a shot in the arm.
I think they literally have to hide to keep from being exposed on a regular basis to the fact that they're making a show for a bunch of rabid fans.
But I think we have this amazing thing with the audience who interact with us. They come and visit us while we're filming.
Right.
We get to meet them so often. Like a lot of their names.
Like, genuinely, I have stories from at least a handful, maybe 10 of our members that have met Sam or Jacob or both or Assad somewhere on set, near set anyway, like eating lunch or something.
Names we know them quite, personally. Like there is a beautiful interaction between the fans of this show and the ones who make it, and it's really special actually because they've got a lot of opinions.
Yeah.
And sometimes
We do have opinions, Samuel.
sometimes it's great to hear them.
Delainey coming into this world, I mean, do you plug in and sort of
Somebody's going to correct me in the comments. His name is not Samuel, probably. Sam's not short for Samuel. I don't know.
see what folks are saying online, or is that kind of madness? Like, what's the technique?
In the beginning, I didn't think I had time to look up everything, but I was getting some really nice messages. I got a couple of texts from like the ladies that did makeup, of like really nice tweets people put out of welcoming me to this universe, and yeah, it's been very nice. I was surprised. I actually expected it to go another way, just because I think like that. I think I'm a realist.
I mean, she was in a hard spot coming in at the beginning of season 2, like late in the process in season 2's production. They had already filmed some things. They had to juggle what they filmed when so that they could get Delainey on set. Yeah, it was a hard position to put her in, but she did a great job. She acquitted herself very well, and I think mostly all of the fan commentary that I've heard about her has been positive. I will say again, not a question about her performance in the show.
But it was everybody was very, very welcoming.
It does feel like, I don't know if you have this sense 2 seasons in, that certainly there was obviously buzz when this launched, but I feel like more folks are like catching on. Like it's generating more and more attention. The critics love it, the fans love it. Are you getting that sense too, the folks that have been here from the start?
I think any show is a snowball, right? Like, I mean, that's obviously true for podcasting and like online content creation, but it's true for TV shows too, almost always. Like very few, I'm trying to think of something recent. The Mandalorian, right? The Mandalorian came out of the gate and was like a huge smash. And honestly, it's shrunk as it's gone on. That is very not normal. That's like a once in a 10-year thing for a TV show.
That it's kind of like building a new momentum.
I think when we were here for the first Comic-Con, we had no idea because no one had seen it, and obviously people knew the books and the film, so they were curious about what we were doing. So yeah, but there is a sense. I think it's a cult show. It's like it's word of mouth. It's how people talk about it, and then we're so lucky that the people who are into it do have a kind of obsession with it, which is fantastic. I remember Jacob and I were at the theater in New York like a year ago, and this girl came up to us and she said, "I love your show. It's my entire personality." Wow, and it was just like, wow. I've never heard that before. I'd never heard that kind of language before. And I thought, wow, I'm so sorry. It's a really
it's a lot to put on me.
Intense personality
It's not
to have. But we get it because it's kind of becoming all of our personalities as well, in a way. There is no escape.
Right. The salary will go into the therapy bills.
Yeah.
There's no escape for you, Sam. You're in for a decade, sir. You and Jacob both.
You're on, right?
Well, Roland is our therapist, so
there you go.
Contractually, so we're all yeah.
Have you seen?
Roland Jones here, who he's talking about, the creator of the series and the showrunner. He's absolutely working out some therapy for most of us, I think.
I would again imagine like a fandom like this is very creative. Like, is there fan art out there, fan edits? Do you see all that stuff?
Is there fan art? Is there fan art?
Is there fan art? Well, there's fan art.
Literally just yesterday, we were sitting down having lunch, and this person came up to us, and they said, I didn't know if we were going to get the chance to meet you. Here's this drawing that I have made. And they pulled out this drawing, and it was the most incredible thing. It was like, just happened to pull it out of them.
Louis and Lestat, and it was gorgeous.
They were like, Louis and Lestat, like going at each other.
They've been dreaming of that moment, Sam. Don't worry about it. They were looking forward to that moment very, very specifically.
Blood everywhere. Jet is their name. A very talented artist. And they just happen to exist out in the world. I mean, it's very humbling for us because, you put all this work in and then this other whole side is like drawn out of the show. And these incredibly talented artists. It's mind-blowing.
I think what I find fascinating about it is you see the show through their eyes when they almost, I mean, the show is gorgeous anyway, the way it's been crafted and made, but when they present their artwork, some of it is elevating the essence of what they find in the show, and it's gorgeous. And I'm like, wow, that's what you see. This is.
And they are so creative.
Yeah,
Like they send
yeah.
us books, like bound books with artwork in it, and I mean, I got a beautiful collection of scrunchies recently, with all of these blood spatters all over them. It just
Okay, joke about the scrunchies aside, like genuinely, this is a very talented fandom. I mean, it's a fandom full of theater kids and art kids, but also like it does. I think it does elevate. This is one of the places where I disagree with Our Lady Anne Rice. She was very against fan fiction back in the day. She was very strict on like what you could do with her material and how you could respond to it, and how you could use it as far as fan created art. Although obviously that was less of an issue in the 90s and early 2000s than it is today. So I don't know how she would respond if she was around today, but I think she would enjoy it. And like, there's some really, really beautiful stuff that comes across my feed. I'm sure you see similar things. The fan edits that people make and they put to music, like they're amazing. And I don't purport that anything that Ashley and I do here on this channel is art exactly, but we are creating in response to this beautiful thing that we're getting to see. And I've been enjoying the ride.
It's like hand sewn scrunchies. Somebody sent me a tapestry. A tapestry of Lestat, like hand sewn. I mean, what? Just thank you so much. It's amazing that their talent is constantly inspiring. It is so beautiful.
It's amazing, and as you know, it's unique. Not a lot of shows elicit that kind of passion. Jacob sadly can't be with us. Should we talk some trash? What can we say tell some secrets about Jacob? He can't fight back.
Yeah,
Jacob
talk
has
trash.
massive FOMO. He loves Comic-Con.
Yeah.
I think he would love to be here, so let's not trash Jacob.
Having now that
Defending
the show
Lou.
is kind of like 2 seasons in, and it's obviously beloved, is there more like, are you guys more comfortable like seeing the different interpretation, obviously the film way back when? Is it okay to kind of go back to that great Neil Jordan film and sort of see what those actors brought to your respective roles?
I remember being asked in the beginning of like press tour, what's it like taking on the shoes of the great. I forgot his
It's okay. That's what
Antonio
the
Banderas.
I love it that Assad forgot Antonio Banderas' name. His name is Antonio Banderas.
great Antonio Banderas.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
We'll take that again.
Oh my God, let's take that one more time. The great Antonio Banderas. And I was just like, look, I adore him and I think he's amazing. And I don't think I went into this with any intention of trying to emulate or overtake that. That's its own thing. And I think the film is its own thing. And what we made here is our own thing. And so I just sort of embraced it that way. But I was very young when.
So I genuinely made this connection the other day in the comment section on a different video. Somebody asked about, what did I think about the TV series and the changes that they had made from the books. I mean, you go back and listen to the podcast. I like the TV series a great deal. I think most of the changes, almost all of the changes, have been for the better. Honestly, they expand the story and allow for new avenues and new expansions of what Anne had already done without taking anything away, because they're all within the spirit of her original stories. That's genuinely how I feel about almost everything that the show has done. But the point that I made in the comments the other day is like, in a world where 3 different Spider-Men can show up together and fight the bad guys all together, the bad guys from different movies, by the way, that weren't connected, then I think people understand the idea of alternate storylines, right? Like of alternate tellings of a tale. This isn't new either. Like, how many different versions of Cinderella and Snow White and the Beauty and the Beast and all of the Little Mermaid, how many different versions of those have you heard or read or seen? Like, we know how to retell a story. And that's what this is. This is a retelling. This is an adaptation of the book's stories into a television, modern prestige TV medium. And I think they're killing it.
I was very young when that came out, when the film came out.
Weren't we all, Assad?
All I really remember is Claudia from the film. Just that image of Claudia is just very stuck in my
Makes an
mind.
impression, yeah. So if you run into Kirsten, do you have something to say to her? Do you have some?
A lot of folks have said they want Kirsten for Gabrielle in season 3. She's a little young for it, honestly, still, but it would be interesting in like a full circle moment. You could obviously, make her up to look a little older, and then once some things happen, then she could look like herself.
Yeah, I think you were amazing in the film. I watched the series before I watched the film, and then so it's like I was going backwards, and I was like, oh, the series. I watched season 1. I was like, okay, that's amazing. And then I watched the film. The film is amazing too, but Kirsten Dunst is the standout for me, and it's not just.
The last time Ashley and I watched the movie for the show, right before season 2 came out on AMC. We called the episode "Kirsten Won the Movie" because her performance is the best in the whole movie.
Because I'm playing Claudia, but she's amazing.
How old she was at the time to bring that kind of amazing.
How old was she?
Probably 14, I'm gonna guess, something. That's a guess, but amazing. Do you feel a kinship with there's been so many great actors that have played vampires over the year. It's kind of silly, but if you saw Robert Pattinson, you'd be like, yeah, I got you. We have some kind of weird connection. We've been through it.
I don't know if I feel that. I couldn't.
He got to be sparkly, so you might be a little jealous about that.
Well, I think Lestat wouldn't mind.
Very ironically here, Anne Rice famously talked a lot on Facebook. She would do Facebook Lives, and she would also just post regularly. And one of the things that she often posted about was this pretend rivalry between Edward from Twilight and Lestat. I think her final verdict was that Lestat and Louis both loved the idea of sparkly vampires and would have appreciated sparkling themselves.
Having some glitter on. I don't think he would mind putting it on.
Yeah, see, I'm saying Lestat would be fine with being sparkly.
I don't know. I feel like do we know anyone? I don't know anyone else who's played vampires, but I don't know how to answer that question.
That's okay. Come to
you. Get Sam and Gary Oldman in the same room. Come on, let's go.
Well, here's another one that'll stump you. Well, you can say a little bit because you had your panel, so that we know some stuff. Yeah. The next season, hair's a little longer.
Yeah.
What do we have in store for?
So it's interesting. His hair is longer in real life now than it was in the promo for season 2, which makes me wonder, or season 3, which makes me wonder exactly when they shot that.
What's that next season?
I remember in the car on the way over here, they gave me this kind of bunch of talking points about what I was allowed to say and what I wasn't, and I've completely forgotten.
Good.
But
good thing is AMC probably can't afford those Disney and Marvel snipers, right?
Yes, we're going down a musical odyssey. We're adapting the second book. I'm looking forward to seeing not just Lestat, but all of the vampires, that we have, set up in these first.
Nice catch. He's excited about seeing all the vampires. Then he goes, that we have set up in these first 2 seasons. There's going to be some vampires, obviously, that they haven't set up yet.
2 seasons, and I can't wait to see where they're all turning up. I can't wait to see what happens to the new Daniel Malloy, who's the new vampire, what the deal with Armand and Daniel is. I wonder if, we might have some Claudia.
I was going to say, I don't want to ruin anything.
I don't know, what a dream. Wouldn't that be amazing? That would be my preference. I don't know what's going on. And our new Louis, too, our fantastic new Louis, who's who owns the night, who's found himself. I'm really, really excited.
Yeah, don't get confused there. They're not recasting Louis or anything. Jacob Anderson's going to be back. He just means that at the end of season 2, Louis got a new attitude.
About seeing all of those characters. And then the new ones like Gabrielle and Marius and Akasha.
God, I'm so excited to see these new characters. Gabrielle is one of my favorite parts of the book, honestly, and Marius is a huge part of this series, and obviously Akasha. I mean, Aaliyah is the one great thing about the Queen of the Damned movie that they made in the 2000s.
I cannot wait to meet Akasha. I'm so excited about that character. That is wow.
Sam, just like Lestat in all ways, right?
We tease it, and I don't want to ruin anything, but Claudia, the future for Claudia, is there
Yeah, see why you asked that question. You know they're not going to answer it.
more vampiring for you? Or
sadly, she's dead.
Yeah, okay. Spoiler alert. I didn't want to ruin it, so I'll leave it to you.
I hope so.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Fair enough.
We all hope. Yeah.
Yes. Congratulations on season 2. Continued success, guys.
All right, so no. Good interview, some good questions here, but no, they did not ask Delainey about her performance. God, I just want somebody to be like, what was your favorite moment, or what was a hard moment to play? Obviously, I mean, the death scene was very difficult. I will say the variety interview, she gave some good answers. They weren't really questions that were geared for that, but she went into it anyway when she was talking about the trial scenes. So good interview from MTV. We've still got a Collider one coming soon, and our next episode of Articulate Coven on the channel is going to be a movie night as we watch Bram Stoker's Dracula.